Coming down to number 5, that's where we settled on Alvin Kamara. I ranked him 5th. Cougs, you ranked him 4th. And Paul, you ranked him one spot lower at 6th for an average of 4.7. Why did you guys rank Kamara where you did?
Well, I think that you added another target to that New Orleans Saints offense, and obviously it's a high-powered, high-octane offense, and we see what Kamara can do in that offense. He had his shortcomings last season. He fell short of what we thought he was going to do, and then they added another big target, and obviously Kamara gets a lot of his run from the passing game, so I think he might lose a couple of targets there. And now, this is going to be a recurring theme between both of my lists, but I kind of feel like 3 through 8, maybe even 10, the differences between how I rank those guys is incremental.
It's so small.
So it like you mentioned a couple seconds ago, it's not that it's a slight on Kamara that I have him at 6th as opposed to 4 or 5, but it's just that I see things with other guys, like we'll mention in a couple of seconds, like Cook and those guys. I see them doing more. It's not like it's a slight on Kamara in any way.
Yeah, and me putting him at 4 was not saying that I think he's going to be... I don't even think he's going to be Alvin Kamara from a few years ago. I do think that the low he hit last year, not saying that it was even the worst that he could do.
Well, he was playing hurt all year.
Playing hurt. Not only that, I'm really hoping that we get some surprise stud out of, the preseason or training camps for the Saints, because my ranking might change.
I'm sure that all of our rankings will change between now and draft day.
Oh, for sure. But my rankings might change for Kamara specifically because I have him at 4. I have him above Zeke because of the fact that I thought Kamara was going to be able to really kind of have a little bit more control of that offense this year. And what you need to hope for if you are a Kamara truther, as I am, is someone during the training camp or preseason to step up and be a reliable RB2, because I think that he needs that. I think that he is going to bounce back big time this year. And 4 was me trying to control myself in that element, because I love Alvin Kamara. I think he's a beast. So I'm really hopeful that he bounces back this year.
I had him in a couple leagues last year where he let me down a little bit, but that's by no fault of his own. The two factors on him bouncing back this year, which I think both are pointing up in his favor. Number 1, Drew Brees is going to be healthy. I don't think Drew Brees is going to be missing 8 games this year. He missed half their season and Teddy Bridgewater took control. Now, Teddy Bridgewater did fine for the Saints, but he didn't do fine for the Saints when it came to fantasy outside of Michael Thomas, who set an insane record of targets where they just had the game plan to get Michael Thomas the ball. So number 1 is that Drew Brees is going to be healthy and will be able to control that offense better than they did when Teddy Bridgewater was in. Number 2, as I've already stated, Kamara is going to be healthy this year. Now, he has tweeted out and he said that he was playing on one leg pretty much all last year, and he missed 3 games because of it. He had an ankle injury, he had a knee injury. He said he had back problems that he didn't miss any games from. So if he can stay healthy and on the field, which we can say about every single one of these running backs, if he can stay healthy and on the field, he's going to be a much bigger factor than he was last year. And he's been a consistent factor with everything outside of touchdowns. Like the last 3 years, he's been consistent in the fact that he has caught exactly 81 balls all 3 years.
So, quick question then. Is the new norm for an off year, is the new norm going to be, well, I was hurt the entire year. I'm just now telling you this because we've seen this now from how many players? They're like, well, yeah, of course I was playing poorly, but did you know that I was playing on a sprained ankle the entire year?
We saw Beckham do that last year.
Jarvis.
But
like a lot of, that's just in our hometown, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like it's kind of the new norm that we're seeing it so much that it's like, well, this guy had an off year. And they're like, well, I had a fractured disc and I had a torn this and it's like, well, then what are you doing? And also, why are we paying trainers? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
I think when a player sets the bar as high as Kamara has in his first few years, he had 13 touchdowns in 2017. He had 18 touchdowns in 2018. Last year he only got in the end zone 6 times. And I think something that backs up his case of saying, well, I was hurt, he did miss 3 games. So when you actually do miss time and people know you're banged up and you did have to sit out a few games, that backs up the story of, well, before that he was probably playing banged up as well. And let's face it, every running back is probably going to play banged up in 2020. It's just the nature of the sport, nature of the position. Running backs get beat up. That's why their shelf life is so short. But when you have a player as consistent and as productive as Kamara has been since he came into the league, and then he has a down year where he just doesn't find the end zone at a third of the rate as he did in years past, and he misses a couple games, I think that's where you can say, all right, we'll give you a pass for this one. We'll still believe in you for 2020.